Okay, I don't really have an intro for this podcast, so I usually just go, all right, let's get started. That's how we start now. It's funny, this whole thing was like in like one day. Like, you know, you come in, everyone comes in here now and they're like, dude, what? I'm like, literally one day I walked back here and it wasn't being used. And I was like, we should put a podcast room back here. And I was like, Adrian, go on Amazon, tell me everything I need to order. And he was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah.
Do it.
And then he's like, but then it was like, we're trying to get it a little bit better. Like, there's a few more things we want to add. Like, the cameras off the floors was a huge thing in here. Like, it freed up this space, but I think I might put, like, a chair, maybe 2 chairs over there to kind of maybe have, like, a different scene on the podcast. So, like, if it's, like, not always just, like, the table look, you know?
The visuals can change, yeah.
Yeah, like, and make that wall kind of cool looking. Yeah. I'm not sure. But what's going on, man? Thanks for coming in today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I was pretty stoked. I saw your post and you were like, hey, if anybody wants to do this, I'm like, yeah, duh.
You know what? Let me explain to people what this podcast is about, because I've had a few people reach out to me because this was all kind of new. But the podcast is to promote people in Riverside or in the Inland Empire for sure, and then talk to people about what they've done, because then it might inspire someone to go that way.
Awesome.
Because like for you, like you own a salon, right?
Correct.
And it's like, you know, everyone knows that my ex-fiance is in the hair game, and she tried to open a salon, and like just seeing that process, that it's like, and I've told her before, I used to tell her all the time, like, dude, just go DM someone that owns a salon. Before you try to go open a salon, DM someone that owns a salon. They're going to tell you a lot of things that like you're never going to realize that are problems. Let's like opening a real estate office. I wish I would have spoken to someone before doing this. I mean, I think I would have still done it, but there's a lot of stuff. Like when you don't realize when the internet goes out and that's now your problem, or the AC. I remember the first time we moved in and we blew out the AC on accident. I don't know how that happened. Let's not say whose fault it was, aka mine. And it was so hot in here for like a week. It was like 100 degrees. I just told everyone, like, don't even come in.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad. So what's going on? So how long have you owned your salon, man?
So actually, I just opened it up last year in October.
Nice.
Now, granted, in June, it'll be 18 years of doing hair. So this is actually my second go at owning a salon.
Okay.
After selling my first one, I did sell the salon to somebody who taught me a lot about the industry that I did not know beforehand. And I learned a lot, and I took that time just to grow and develop myself as a stylist, and just sort of reach out also to other owners. And I was very honest, you know, with other salon owners, like, I'm going to own a salon again one day. Just learning what I could. Yeah. And every time I met new salon owners, I'd be like, cool, what are things that you made mistakes in? What would you redo?
Do you feel like your journey was like, we started going towards salons where you were more connected to the owner as a business person? Because there's definitely a handful of salons that I've been in that like the owner knows no clue what's going on. So did you start leaning towards like, okay, this person I think I can learn from? Yes. Yeah, the salon's cool, but I can learn from this owner, and that's why I'm going there.
A lot of times the owners that I would meet would be at education events.
Okay.
Because already when you're at an education event for a hairdresser, like, that's already a different caliber of person. So when the owner is also there with their team, that shows that they are trying to grow a team. That's the environment I would want to create, is being an owner that's connected to my staff.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that are owners that are not connected to their staff. There's owners that are not hairdressers.
That's the worst.
So there's all those different variables, and it's like, that's not what I wanted to be. So when I would be at hair events, meet a salon owner, those are the people that I connected to and would instantly be like, okay, what's your Instagram? Let me follow you. Or what's your cell phone number? If I have questions, can I reach out to you? What's your business model? How many stations do you have?
Yeah.
How do you train new, like, you know, those are the things. Yeah.
I think that's the thing that's hard, is like when you're not in that industry, like, you know, I can give you my 2 cents on how to run a business because I've done it, but like I can morally angle you on like marketing, because like marketing for me is like the same on almost every business. Obviously there's a little niche, but like I have no idea how much each chair needs to bring you in revenue per month to make sense. That's something I have no idea. I'll tell you how many real estate deals you need to do, because that's kind of like my MO. That's why when people are like, I want to get into real estate, I'm like, cool. They're like, you guys can do so well. I'm like, well, yes, take that 10 grand you think you're gonna make on that check, divide it by half, then divide that by half, and that's what you walk away with. Yeah. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, they're called taxes.
Taxes. And all the marketing you got to do to get that house sold, to make that 10 grand.
Or just to meet that person.
Yeah.
Like I sent out 100 mailers today. Someone's like, okay, a big deal. I'm like, that was $300, and that might nothing come from it. And I do that every week. It's crazy. So you've been in the game since, you know, for 18 years. What's the biggest transition you've seen in hairstyle, being a hairstylist, or in the hair, like from like no social media to like now there's social media, right? Like,
so I have a thing. I talk to some of the older hairdressers, and even before all of this going on, right? we've talked about like, okay, the next economy down, the upswing, this generation of hairdressers isn't going to make it because they didn't make it through the last time, right? Social media definitely changes things, but some of us made it out of the last crash with no social media.
Yeah.
What was that? That was customer experience. That was loving what you do, letting your clients know that you love what you do, caring about your clients, all those things that I think aren't there right now almost because of social media.
Where it's like so distant.
So distant. Yeah. It's like this faux connection, Oh, I follow so-and-so. I follow so-and-so. I'm like, they probably wouldn't recognize you though in a grocery store, right? Like that's not connection.
Yeah. I think that's what's so funny when people like in my world, like we were talking about before the podcast, is like sometimes I get frustrated of being like, well, I'm putting out good content that can give people value and I get like half the likes. But like I will say the one thing I do encourage is like if I run into a follower online, like kind of like people know me, like I can walk down the street and if you follow me you'll know who I am.
Yeah.
Which I think sometimes it gets skewed, and I think and I've spoken at salons before. I think the one big thing salon or new hairstylists makes is all they post is like the ring photo of the hair, like that's it. It's like, dude, you can post more than just a haircut.
And and in the beginning, and as the evolution has happened, in the beginning, like they would tell us, post your hair pictures, post your hair pictures. People already know what you look like. And then it went to people want to know who you are. So then you want to rotate in some pictures of you. But then it's like, well, you don't want them to be too unprofessional version of you. You don't want it to be Friday night at 1:30 in the morning eating your Albertos wasted, right? But they're like, okay.
Which if you're from Riverside, everyone has been at an Alberto's at 1:30 in the morning.
Exactly.
Wasted.
So anybody listening in this area is going to be like, oh, that's me.
And regretting life the next day. Not the booze, the burrito. Like the next day you're like, oh my God, I made such a poor decision last night. Like, what happened? I had a carne asada burrito from Alberto's.
But it's like, social media has changed to like what you're supposed to be showing too, though. So, as that's happened, people are now like, and now it's like, I would always be like, oh, I need 3 pictures in a row, a product picture, a picture of me. And now I'm like, oh, cool. I really like this chick's hair I did. I'm going to post it. Yeah. Oh, this is me drinking coffee at a local coffee shop. I'm going to post it. Or I'm not. Like,
it's hard. Do you get like, because you're a business owner, I think it's a different game too, because like when you're owner, it's like you got to post your clients, then you got to post the salon.
Correct.
Then you got to support your girls or whoever was working for you. Then you got to do product sell. So do you ever feel like sometimes it's like, dude, like I am posting so much, like where it's just like, I don't even know like where I'm at even more, because it's like you're having to like balance all those items.
So before all of this happened, I made sure that every Monday, first off, all my social media had posts.
Yeah.
I have personal, I have hair, I have the salon, I have other businesses too. So like that would always happen. And then through the week, try to make sure I kept up on posts. And even on my salon page, I don't really care if I post my stuff. I'd rather post the girls' stuff, try to help them get business and do that, because I'm already posting on my page. I have followers, whatnot. My concern would be more to post on the salon page. But yeah, there's some days I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't posted in a week.
Where
did that week go?
That's what I don't.
And then I'm like, oh my God, people don't even know I have a salon anymore.
I do.
Like, you're like, oh my God, I'm not relevant today.
Thank you. That's what I always say. Like, I always go like, because I normally don't post on weekends. Like weekends is kind of like my day off. My team isn't giving me stuff to post. So I really stay quiet unless I'm doing something. But like, if I'm like doing nothing, I don't post. I just don't. Like, I'm not like trying to go out there. But it's the truth. Like, I've been thinking like, man, I would love to go a week at Ghost. But then like in my head, I'm like, well, I'll be, and people won't even remember who I am in 1 week. And it's so dumb and definitely not the truth, but it's that anxiety of like, I have to stay relevant. I have to stay relevant. I have to stay relevant. And
but it's like, how relevant is crappy work?
I know.
It's not. So it's like when you do post that one picture that you're like, people are like, ooh, that house is amazing.
Yeah.
Or even if it's a post of like, you sold that house, people are like, oh, that was a really nice house. That's an awesome, job, whatever. That's what you want to post. But at the same time, like you do have this anxiety because, everybody's posting.
Well, I think the one thing that's true, like with this whole thing that's going on right now, is like, how do you stay relevant when you can't work?
Yeah. So for me, it's a lot of flashback Friday pictures. It's way back Wednesday. It's throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
Or it's pictures of me in the salon, like wishing I was back.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of, going through old pictures. I'm like, oh, should I repost that?
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't. And then, so like on my salon page, what I did recently is I only have 2 stylists right now. And each one of them and me, we did a little what we've been up to.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yeah.
Like it's not a hair picture, but it's just, hey, this is what we've been up to. This is what I've been reading on or whatever. Just to like let people know that we're still there.
Yeah.
And sort of too that we could relate to them because we're all sort of like figuring out what to do on our day to day. Like,
well, I think that's the thing too, is that like, honestly, I think people like us are the worst in this position because like, even for me, like I am so bored at my house. I am used to like coming home at like 8:00 with something that I picked up on the way home, chilling with my dogs for an hour and a half, going to bed. Now it's like, I have all day. Yeah. Like, I'm like, like, it's depressing. Like, I'm like, okay, don't start drinking. Do not stop. Like, don't start it. Like, don't start drinking, Adam. Like, there's no and then I'm like, well, fuck, I got nothing new tomorrow. Okay, let's do it, right? And I think that's the thing is, like, when we're so used to, like, interacting with so many people, because that's what our jobs are with people, that it's like, now it's like, oh, my God, like, I'm not used to, like, being alone all the time. It's really weird.
Where was I the other day? I think I was just talking to my neighbors. Oh, no. That's what it was. Me and my roommate went to go get Cold Stone because I was like, we got to get out of the house.
Yeah, you got to get out of the house.
So we were there just chatting up the people working there. I'm like, oh, God, this is so depressing that we're so excited to see the two people from Cold Stone. I don't even know their names. Yeah. But I was just like, how are you guys doing? What's going on? Obviously, their life is just as boring as ours right now, right? But whatever. Yeah. It was some new conversation.
I think that's what's so crazy. I think maybe this will actually help us like embrace conversation with people now and face to face, because as much as like we've been like so tech based with like social and whatever, if I had to do another goddamn Zoom meeting, I'd be so nothing's worse than freezing Zoom meetings. I'm done with them.
Yeah.
I'm done with Zoom meetings. Like you were talking about, you know, now everyone wants to do Zoom meetings, you know, panels and this and that and what it should be doing. And sometimes like I went on a panel on Friday and someone's like, what's going to happen in your market? I'm like, I have no idea, dude. I have no idea. It's like, what are you doing? When are we coming back? No idea. Yeah. I'm just hanging in there.
And I am one of these people that always tries to see the optimistic side, but sure. I mean, at the same time, like we don't know what's going to happen. And I try not to like let that be my, and sometimes being on the Zoom meetings, like people say stuff and I'm just like, God, you're just seeing everything from the worst point of view. I don't want to listen to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to,
I
want to create my own happy environment. I'm not trying to like not be aware of what's really happening, but at the same time, like I'm not trying to like have my whole life force sucked out of me every time I'm on a Zoom meeting because everybody else is depressed or something.
Yeah, and I think so. That's for you. Like, so do you feel like that, like you said, that the new salon people are not going to make it through it if there's another downturn, right? Do you feel like that's because they're basing it because it's been so good and so easy for them?
It has been easy, unfortunately. And you know, are there ones that are going to make it? Yes. I'm not saying all of them won't make it. But in the past, there's been so many systems in place by corporate that a lot of us learned that the new people came into the industry and just went straight booth rental or independent. So there's a lot of systems in place that are not in place for them.
Do you think a lot of girls shouldn't be booth rental because it's like when you go booth, it's literally you're running your own company, and most people shouldn't be doing that anyways? They're just not good enough.
It's not that they're not good enough. It's just they haven't created the foundation.
Like business-wise, hair, they're great. But
business-wise. But it's something that could be learned. It's not that, they'll never be able to be a successful booth renter. It's just maybe they did it a little bit faster than they should have. But the thing is, there's not a lot of people that are in the industry that have worked corporate to pass on some of these, hey, yes, the industry has changed and every industry changes, and that's awesome. But some of these people don't have systems in place, and there isn't that much of the older generation to say, hey, look, this is how we used to do things. Yes, you're going to modify it for the current times. I get it. But these are habits that we did. Even how you greet your client, how you do consultations, the business part of it, people aren't taught in beauty school. So they're just out there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's unfortunate because there's some really, really good hairdressers that don't have the business skill and they don't know that. And when things like this happen, this is when it's going to be exposed. But they're ones that could be way more successful than a lot of people I know, but they just don't have the business backup.
Yeah. And sadly, they don't want to learn, I don't think. And that's the thing that's interesting.
I don't think it's that they don't want to learn. Nobody's explained to them the benefits of learning it. Because, I mean, it's like
everything's good. They're making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the older generation isn't as honest, and I think in being like, and you know, every young generation's like, oh, I got this, you know, and they don't want to listen to old grandpa, right? Yeah. But it's also how it's like, hey guys, these are things I messed up, and you know, I'm a certified educator for RCC or cosmetology. I could teach classes at the community college level, whatever. So sometimes I'm a guest speaker, or when there was school. And some of them would be like, well, what did you do? And I'll be honest. I'm like, hey, guys, when I started, I messed up my taxes. This is what I would advise you to do. Da, 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 da. Nobody goes over hey, this is where I screwed up. That's why these things are important. Mm-hmm. They just, hey, I'm successful because of this. Well, let's be real. You're successful because you jacked up in all these areas.
For sure.
And you had to learn how to do it correctly. But too many of the older generation isn't as open and honest.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I really messed up, guys. This is what I wish I would have done differently. Da da da.
I think that's the thing that's interesting as we're talking, it's making me think because I'm in my industry, you're in industry, but it's like it's almost I feel like the hair industry and real estate is exactly the same, right? Is that like you see these people up top and they're like super successful or they've lasted for a long. Like I respect anyone and like. Deal, yes, like I'm successful, but I've only been doing this 4.5 years, right? So if I've ever seen someone like 10, 15, 20 years in the game, maybe they've slowed down, but it's like, dude, I respect you because it's like you made it. Like you made it. And so it's like, but it's the same thing. It's just like you go to them and it's just kind of like, I'm awesome. I did this. I did that. But it's not like, well, I filed bankruptcy twice. I lost this company. I did this. It's like, even like for me, like there's certain things that I know I need to fix. And every day I walk in this office going, I need to get better at that. And then I don't. And then I'm like, dang it, I need to get better at that. But it's like, you're true. Like I know someone who's been around for a long time and he's honest. He's like, dude, I've filed bankruptcy twice. He's like, I'm not scared to do it again. I'll file bankruptcy again. Well, it is what it is, dude. Don't be ashamed. But it's like a lot of people aren't like that, even in the hair game. It's like, like you said, they're just like, I've done really well because of this. Okay, great. Well, like that doesn't help me learn from how do I get to where that is.
Exactly. And I'll tell new stylists, I'm like, you ever want to ask what I messed up? Ask me.
Especially
tell
taxes.
you.
God, taxes are
dude. And when you first start, because again, that's something they don't teach you in school. They teach you how to pass state board, whatever. But nobody goes over the financials in our industry. Like, the average hairdresser makes like I think $23,000 a year,
how much is
which
real
is a
estate.
lie. Which is because hairdressers aren't reporting everything.
Exactly.
But then these same hairdressers are going to go to you one day to be like, hey, I want to buy a house, and you're like, dude, you reported you made $30,000 and you want a $500,000 house?
Like that does not work.
That doesn't work. Yeah. So then it's like teaching people, okay, why you want to report what you make or and all of those things, like the money side, the business side. I learned from one of my old salon owners how to negotiate lease agreements.
Yeah.
Nobody's teaching that.
No.
So unfortunately, now there are salons that are not going to reopen after this, not for different reasons. Mm-hmm. But I know one of them is going to be because they don't have a good lease agreement or a lease that they really could afford. They were pushing their limit on their lease as opposed to negotiating a good lease. And all of those things come into play when you're trying to run a business.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like you have to know the direction you're going into. Like like you said, like I used to go to salons, people, and being like, I'm gonna open my own salon today. The first day I ever got my license and walked into an office, I said, one day I'm opening my own office. Just so you know, like I was like straight up, I'm gonna leave here one day and open my own spot. And oh come on, dude.
Sorry,
bro. Let's be professional around
Goodness,
here.
Sorry.
But it's the truth because it's like you're like. So then what I started doing was the same way. Like I would like look and niche and like be okay, like how did he do this? Like, but this is the same thing too. It's like you go in and like when I did this office, like I didn't know. Like I was like, oh, it'll take me like $30,000 to fix all this. $60,000 later, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh dang, like or like same thing with taxes. I remember the first year, I'm like, how did I make this much money and I have not enough money to pay taxes? How did this work? And like because I didn't save for taxes, I didn't think about it. And or having a corporation or an S corp and these things that are like, dude, I wish I could. I always say that if I could go back, man, if I could go back to what I know now as a brand new agent, it would be very dangerous.
I mean, I'm not blowing this out of the water, but I would be a millionaire right now because I would have made some major changes way in the industry. And from pricing, increasing my prices correctly, marketing myself better, creating better client relationships, setting standards for myself, just a million things I would have done differently. I don't own a home.
I know. Hey, listen, and that's the truth too. Is like I go back, I'm like, God, I've left so much money on the table, and you just kind of have to go like, oh, okay, like move on from it. So obviously, like we're going through some weird times right now, and like you just opened up your salon last year. Like, how is the feeling right now to be like like kind of like paralyzed. That's really what we are right now.
Yeah.
Is we all want to be in there jamming away. And what people don't realize, when you own your own business, you don't get, like, I didn't get that $1,200 stimulus check. I can't be on unemployment right now. I'm not getting this, but then I also have all these bills to still pay for. So like, how are you kind of handling the kind of like lack of movement right now?
I'm trying to use it to my advantage. First off, I am sort of like, before I start rebooking people, I am going to adjust my hours so I'm not working as much. And I know that sounds crazy because people are like, you're going to need to make all that money. But like, I need to use this as a reset. Yeah. I'm trying to read up more, some different books. I'm just trying to read and things like that. I'm still able to make a little bit of money. Yeah. We're doing color kits. So like clients that need their roots done, I'm still dropping off color at their houses. If people need product, I'm still dropping that off. So I'm still making myself available for some, I can't say services, but things for my clients where I can still bring in a little bit of income. But then it also goes back to like, having good credit and like taking care of your finances, that, when you can call your credit card company and push back payments and your car payments, things like that. Some of them are just doing that automatically, but some of them are also looking at your relationship. Yeah. So this goes back to like being a good business person, that you can like, hey, call your landlord and be like, hey, look, you know what's going on. How can I make some adjustments on my lease or without it overbearing me later? What can we do? Okay, things like that. Yeah.
I think that's the thing too, that like, if you're not taking this time to like kind of like when everything kind of slows down, because that's what I think ends up happening. Everything starts moving so fast, you don't try to keep your systems in place, or you don't get to learn new things. You're like, I don't even have time. Like, I'm trying to do deals. I'm trying to, I have all these girls coming in. I got this haircut, this haircut, this haircut. But like something like you said, like you're now dropping off, like people to do to color their own hair. Like, who knows, that might be something in the future, being like, hey, like especially like, who knows how long it's going to last, but hey, I can't afford to get my hair done, but I can't afford you to drop off product. Yes. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing too, right now it's looking at services, price points of services, duration of services. Do I need to make adjustments for these? Are there things that I'm doing right now that I might want to add into my service menu later? Like you said, drop-offs. Maybe Sunday is going to be a day that in the future I'm just dropping off hair care, shampoo, and conditioner to clients, and I'm just doing around. Maybe that's something I do in the future. I don't know. But this is where we get a chance. Yeah. And as much as, yes, I'd love to be working, I've been doing this for so long that I'm like, I'm sort of slightly okay with a little slowdown and reset and reevaluation.
And I think that's the thing when people go into like, I want, like, and being a hairstylist you are opening your own business. I don't think people are the same thing with just becoming a real estate agent, but it's like when you step on the treadmill, it is very hard to turn it off, because you get anxiety. And that's what I don't think people realize, the anxiety that comes with this game of like owning your own business. It's like, if I stop, what if it doesn't start again? And that's the same fear I always have. Like, as much as like people are like, oh, you do, I'm like, I'm scared. Like, if I stop if I took a month off of doing nothing, which I'd probably blow my brains out because I can't do that. But like, it's like, what if I become unreal? Like, I'm just like, I come back and it's gone. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be so scared for that to happen.
I know other real estate agents, and I think you guys are in the same stream of people pleasing.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And hairdressers, definitely people pleasers. So when we're not working, we don't feel valued in ourselves because we're not pleasing anyone. We're not helping. We're not taking care of anybody.
You're not taking care of anyone.
But you know what? Nobody's taking care of anybody right now.
Exactly.
I mean, we are in a way, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's another hairdresser that's doing something that I can't do right now. Nobody's doing it.
I think the hard thing is like something I did last year. Well, first I have 2 phones. That really helped me. So clients have 1 phone, personal life for the other. So if I go out somewhere, I don't want to have work phone on me. No work phone. 2, I've made a big conscious effort. Like if a client texts me in the morning, like I don't text them back until 9 a.m. Like I finally have made those restrictions. Like, I'm sorry, if you hit me up at like 8 o'clock at night, I am not responding until the morning.
Before this, I tried to do too, like if clients hit me up on a Monday about an appointment, I would send them my online booking link. Yeah. If Tuesday when I got to the salon, they didn't use that, then I would text them. Yeah. I mean, there's so many options for us. There's so many systems in place. Ooh.
Can we get this on camera? This is going to be a clip of Adrian.
This is a coffee run.
Can you?
Thank you.
Oh. What's up? Straight black. You know how I roll, brother.
Oh, man. Oh.
You know what's funny is, so I never drank coffee until I got into real estate. And the only reason I started drinking it was to kill my appetite. That was it.
Why?
because caffeine kills your appetite.
I know, but eat.
No, I'm good.
Support a local business.
Bro,
I'm kidding. I know you support local. I know you support local.
I eat out every night to the point where I'm like, dude, I cannot have another chicken sandwich from Baba's Chicken. Like, I'm like fried on chicken and like pizza, and like I'm like trying so hard. I'm burnt out. Like, give me some. I mean, the other night I was like, dude, all right, I'm doing it. I'm going to Mario's. I'm gonna have like I'm gonna get a nice dinner. Brought it back to the house. Still ate it out of the tin can. It didn't matter about that. Had like appetizer, bottle of wine. I was like, I'm taking care of myself tonight. I'm gonna be adult meal. I'm having an adult meal. But it's like crazy. Like, I'm not a person to go out and like hit the clubs or whatever. But it's like the lack of not being able to go is like unbelievable.
It's weird. I was watching a TV show the other day with my roommate, and before all this, I go out every once in a while, but not really a lot.
Yeah.
As much as I'm a people person, I'm people during the day and shut it down at night,
sure.
right? Like, my roommate works nights, and so it'd be nice. I come home from work, he's already at work.
Yeah.
Just sit, and sometimes not even turn on the TV when I get home. Just play some words with friends, and just like in my own little head, whatever.
Just turn
and
on.
And now I'm like, I'm watching a movie, and like they're at a bar or a club, and I'm all, ooh. Then I'm like, okay, I really wouldn't even want to go even if I could right now. But then I'm like looking at things, or even just like brunch.
Yeah.
One of those TV shows, they're like all at brunch on a Sunday, and I'm like, oh, even if I could just have brunch with like 3 other people right now, it would be so awesome.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like I was actually thinking about the other day. I'm like, this is why I'm never breaking the law. I could never go to prison. Like, I would literally go crazy. I was like, and then the worst part about it, it's like going to prison, but them telling you never when you're getting out, you're just going to get out one day. Like, you don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, next week, next month. I'm like, I'm never breaking a law ever again. I'm going to like 10 and 2. I'm never speeding, right? If I went to prison, oh my God, this would, and you know, it's like I live in an apartment. So it's like this apartment's bigger than what I can get back. Ugh, dude, no. I think, so, you know, you have the salon that you just opened up. I've been doing this for a while. You have a podcast. You have charities that you're involved in. What is it about all these things that kind of just keep you moving? And like, what is it to kind of makes you want to do all this extra stuff? Because it's a lot of work, because I do all the same things.
Wow.
And then sometimes you ever feel like, dude, I'm like getting pulled in so many directions. Do I just need to cut off one? But which one do I cut off? And
so where I'm at right now is my streamlined.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, I have the salon, I have a podcast, and it's a lifestyle podcast. We talk about everything.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you name drop it? So.
Bangers in the Broad.
Okay, we'll put it right here.
It'll be somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
And then as far as charity work, so what it is it's a t-shirt company I have. Mm-hmm. It's called Hugs Not Hammers, and 20% of every purchase goes to suicide awareness and prevention. Mm-hmm. But I launched that on the 10-year anniversary of my cousin's suicide.
Okay.
So that is not something I'll ever
get away. Yeah.
That'll never be streamlined. Mm-hmm. That's something that I'm actually, and this month is our 3-year anniversary.
Congratulations, man.
So that's, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram for that, Hugs Not Hammers.
Yeah.
So between those things, being a salon owner and a stylist, I feel like I've got it where I want to be.
Yeah. So you're not trying to start any new adventures.
Well, yeah. I'm a health coach as well.
Okay.
So between all those things, I guess I should say, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have a good balance to all that right now.
Yeah, I think for me, like it's like I just get bored, and it sounds really awful to say, but like, you know, one of the things when people are always like, you know, I'm like, I have so much free time. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do more stuff, right? It's like kind of why we started doing this thing. It's like if you weren't here today, then I would really just be like bang out like maybe 2 hours of what I need to do for the day, and then if something comes up, take care of it. But if not, then I have a full-time assistant. She handles all of that. So for me, it's like, okay, what else can we be doing? Yeah. And you know, and I think that. And I'm trying to do the game different than everyone else. Like, everyone like calls and door knocks and calls their past clients like, hey, like, got any clients, whatever. For me, it's like, dude, I'm just going to help as many people as possible, and then be like, yo, I sell houses. So if you need houses, like, I can also do that too for you, you know? And I think, like you were saying, like how you are, like, I'm all about people, but you know what's crazy is I hate talking to people. Isn't that unbelievable?
You're
the same way?
Yeah, I can what's funny is people... Like, my friends think of me as a talker, but if you actually got your hair done by me, you'd find out that I really don't talk.
Like, when I go out to events, if I walk into a room, if you don't come talk to me, I will never come talk to you. Yeah. I hate being the first person to talk.
I guess it depends on the environment too, though. So if I'm going specifically to an event that's like a mixer, I put on the mixer personality. Otherwise, I just don't go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I go with 3 cups of coffee deep, and I'm like, okay, we're getting the cards out. We're talking hair, blah, blah, blah. But if I don't go with that, I just don't go.
Even go. No. That's something I have to work on, that like people that like are in my industry that like look me, they go like, listen, when you go to these events, you got to be in the mood to go and talk to people. Like you can't be the person that's like, nah, I'm not talking to anyone. Like if you want to recruit agents, you got to go to these events, and then you actually have to go talk to people. I'm like, oh, do I really? Yeah. And they're like, yes,
and
you do.
You know, I would say this because we see you on social media.
Yeah.
And you're, you know, right? So I'm sure a lot of people think that you are going to be the initiator.
Yeah, and I'm not.
And you're not.
No. Like that's why like when people go like, how are you still single? I will not speak to a girl at a bar. Never. Like, I don't like bothering people, and I think that's why I've run my business.
So, guys, you all heard, or girls, y'all heard that? He's single.
Yeah, slide my DMs. You got to DM me.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, I've learned, like, I don't like bothering people in all aspects. So, it's like, but if you say, like, if you give me that little entry, then I'll go, right? It's kind of like with, like, when people hit me up for, like, social media advice. Like, I'm not going to be like, yo, I'm a social media expert and blah, blah, blah. When people are like, yo, I see what you're doing. How do you do it? Oh, yeah, dude, I'll tell you how I do it. Like, I don't care. But it's like, I'm not going to go out of my way to be like, yo, I'm a social media expert. Yo, I do this. Like, no, I'm not that way. Yeah. Well, and I think, too, kind of like probably how you are sometimes. Like you were saying when you get home, it's like, dude, sometimes it's like, dude, I always joke that my teammates, I'm just a fucking puppet, and they're just like, go dance, monkey, dance. We always say that, like my assistant will be like, go to work, go make us money. I'm like, yes, I'll go make us money. Like, I'm like, what are you, my pimp? Like, yeah. I think that's the thing people don't realize when you start your own business too. Like, you work for everyone else. They don't work for you. Like, you have to go work for everyone else. Like,
because otherwise they don't get paid.
They don't get paid, and that's the thing that I want people to realize. Like, when you are going to your salon and working with you, or if you're doing deals with me, like something that I've always had pride about is like, if you know whatever you're paying me, I'm paying 6 other people, right? If you're working with someone that does no deals, cool, they're only collecting that whole check. Like we figured out last year because of this whole like PPP loan, and like we had to figure out how much we spent. Dude, I paid 195,000 people last year. So if I disappear tomorrow, 195, like probably like 20 people don't get paid any money. And then same thing with you. Like if you're not doing your thing, your girls don't have a place to come. And I think that's something that fuels me, is that it's like, it goes back to like taking care of people and the aspect of it, like taking care of people.
I think this is, if you don't mind, like I want to talk about the business model that I have, because this is part of the thing is the name of the salon is Luxe and Local.
Yeah.
Why? Luxury hair care and local Riverside beauty brands. So me being closed right now, like my format or my model, whatever, is having luxury for my clients, but also a platform for local Riverside beauty brands to showcase, right? So us being closed is not just me not making money, my staff not making. There's now these brands that are also not making money, because I want, I'm in a platform of helping people and exposing other people with local Riverside, and that's what we do at the salon. And now I'm like, I can't even. So one of the brands that I have, I think we're looking at doing a pop-up this week just for drive-by, so she can still have an outlet, because it's like, I feel like I'm like letting her down by not being able to order more. It's just the whole thing is like,
isn't it weird that
I'm
it's
like, no, I got to get these sales out for them. I mean, I make some money out of it, but it's like, okay, well, so-and-so's not making money. How can we, these different things we can do. And
then the hard part too is then you have the charity. Like I'm part of UMPS Care. We I used to work in baseball. We go to hospitals with children and drop them off bears and stuff like that. And it's like, they emailed me the other day like, yo, Adam, we kind of screwed up. You actually owe us $2,500. And like, they were like, we feel so bad that we're asking for this money right now, because we know things are weird. And like, I was like, cool, here you go. But like, that's the thing too. Like for your charity, it's like, I can't throw an event. I can't really ask for money. Like, it's like now even like charities.
And the thing is, like right now, like people need mental health services like effing crazy.
People are not talking about that.
My money that when we sell the shirts, the money goes to these nonprofits.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into it, but 8,000% increase of calls to suicide hotlines.
100%.
And that hurts me.
For sure.
Because I'm like, well, people don't have extra money to buy t-shirts or donate or whatever. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So like right now I'm actually relaunching my Hugs Not Hammers site, and we're trying to do some promos and things so we can get some product out there, so we can get some money for these services, because mental health is a huge issue right now. And people are, like you said, they're not talking about it.
They're not talking about it.
And people are depressed, dude. People are suicidal.
Yep.
There's
especially
abuse
if you were already on
happening.
edge.
Yeah.
If you were already like, listen, I'm a very mentally strong person, right? And even during all this, I've had 2-3 days of like depression where I'm just like, to the point where I stopped watching news. I turned off news. I had to switch off my YouTube because like the algorithm was pushing the same stuff to me. So I literally turned off that one. And I have like 6 emails. So then I went to another email. So it's like completely new. So then like I'm watching like, somehow I got into like skateboarding videos. I don't even know.
You're like, okay, cool. I can watch that. That's
somehow,
not political.
Somehow I'm Tony Hawk's like biggest fan again. Like somehow, and I bought a skateboard the other. I was a little twisted. I bought a skateboard. I don't know why. I was like, I'm gonna have a skateboard again. But it's true, and it's like if I'm that way, I could not imagine someone who was going into this. And I think depression is like it's hard because most people just don't know how to handle it. You know what I mean? So if your friend's depressed and they live alone, like I live alone, it's like, what do you even do for them?
Yeah.
Especially like you can't go see them, you know, and let's not even talk about elderly people right now.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I don't think there's a lot of things like, don't get me wrong, coronavirus or corona, we're not allowed to say the word, is a thing. I definitely believe it's a thing, but the way that it's affecting so many people, I don't think people have actually even thought about.
Crazy enough, I actually had an older client before all this happened. I mean, it was already going on, and I hit her up and was like, hey, do you want to move your appointment?
Yeah.
And she's like, no. She's older.
Yeah.
And she's like, Eugene, if it's my time, it's my time.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to get my hair done.
Yeah.
And she's like, it gets me out of the house. It's something fun to do, you know? And it's like, so that was like her get out, you know what I mean? And she lives with family, but, you know, she's older. She wants to come. She comes and talks to me like a half hour before her appointment, half hour after, and it's cool. She's been my client. Oh, God, I don't want to say, I think 13 or 14 years. So these people that are now not having that option, I mean, it's rough.
It's like, you know, I'm a member of Victoria Club, and I would say that, you know, I'm part of the new members committee, and they brought me on because they're like, hey, we need some young people here. And
that's for sure.
100%, right?
That's for sure.
And so we were talking, and I was like, dude, how many people come here every day to interact with people that can't come now?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's sad. And then, you know, my grandfather passed last year. Like, I'm kind of happy he did. Because, like, I know my grandpa, he would have been 93 this year. He'd been like, F everyone. I'm still going out in this world. I don't give it.
But the thing is, there's nowhere for them to go.
Exactly.
So even if they want to be defiant and say, hey, if it's my time, it's my time, there's nowhere for them to go.
Isn't that crazy that there's just nowhere? You know, my grandpa used to, back in the day, he used to ride his bike down to the mall. And they would walk around. All the old people in the morning would walk around the mall together.
That's awesome.
That's what
but like I said, even that's not even an option.
Do that. I think, and that's the thing. So, you know, I just think it's crazy that there's been, you know, I'm 33 this year, but like how many life things have happened that like our grandkids will ask us about this time.
Yeah.
They'll be like, how was it like when this happened? What concerns me too is like what I've been kind of saying on all the Zoom meeting pod masterminds. I'm like, the biggest thing is like this could happen every year. Like, let's be honest, like they've set the precedent that this could happen, just like when 9/11 happened. And like, I mean, we're still having to take our shoes off at the airport 20 years later. What if this becomes like a thing? Like we're all of a sudden they're like,
or what if every January
that's what I'm saying,
we shut down for a month because
they're concerned. Yeah.
You know, or if it's, you know, hey, it's the winter corona, guys, we're closed for November again. Yeah. And it's just part of our business model.
It would because you would be slammed in December. Just slammed.
And I don't want to say that too many people in our industry aren't serious, but a lot of hairdressers, like, again, goes back to not being business minded because they don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that this causes a lot of them to reevaluate their business practice and saving.
Yeah.
Getting life insurance. You know, just different things like that. Just being a little bit more conscious about.
Well, because it's signs that, like, even in the greatest economy that we've ever seen, like, it could end in 1 month, you know?
But, okay, I'm not trying to be, like, a pessimist, but how great is it that within 2 weeks of work, people are, like, dying?
For sure.
Like, that's not a great economy. Well, but it also goes back to personal decision to you don't need to spend every dollar you make.
I think so.
You're allowed to save.
I think it goes back to 2 problems that we see in the world right now. One, jobs are not high enough paid. And especially in California, Southern California, they're not keeping up with livelihood, right? And then 2, no one has any money. Like, I look at people's finances. I know how much people money. Like, perfect example is like, people ask me, why don't you own a house, Adam? If I would have bought a house right before this has happened, I would be so effed right now because all my money would have gone to a down payment, right? I can't get that money back. So for me, it's like, cool, I just pay $1,900 a month. If I need to go live in my van, I can go live in my van. I got a Sprinter. But it's true because it's like the saying goes, like, the tide's coming out right now. We're going to see who swims naked, right? It's like, and something I had said on a podcast there, and I'll say that it's been stolen from Gary Vee, but it's like, everyone went through the crash last time. Like, how do you go through the crash now with social media? Right? Like, now you don't have your Mercedes that you post every single day. Now you don't have that. Maybe you don't have that big house you were posting. Maybe you have to get rid of your boat that you were posting. And like, people will notice. Like, and it sounds so bad to say, but like, negativity dominates social media. Yeah. So if all of a sudden they see you don't have that same car anymore or that boat, people are gonna notice that. Or this is the funny thing. Going back to society is like, maybe you're going to sell your boat before this happened, or your car or your thing. And now you're like, well, shit, now if I put it up for sale, people are going to think that I'm losing everything when I was going to sell it anyways.
And what are you selling it for? Like, now you can't even sell it for what you could have sold it for 2 months ago. So now you're like, well, do I really sell it?
I
can't even really get anything for it.
Exactly. Yeah. I know. I want to get a new car. I don't own a car. So like, I'm actually hoping that happens to someone so I can buy a new car. But even same too, it's like when people ask me like, you drive a cargo van every day? I'm like, dude, why do I need another car?
Yeah.
Really? Like, I don't.
Because you're probably not driving far enough that it really makes that much of a difference, right?
And honestly, I used to have an E300 before that, at least that one. And I actually got the same gas mileage I do in my big van. Yeah. Then that, like, it doesn't even matter to me. And like, the thing is that it's like, I have a scooter. I'll just ride that. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah. That's the thing that's so funny, right? So, one time, a quick little story, I was seeing a girl, and we were dating. We were going on a few dates, and she came. I went and picked her up from her house, and she like came out, and then she's like, "Do you want me to drive?" And I literally looked. I said, "If you don't get in the van, I don't pay. So you can drive, but that means you're paying. This van makes me money. Has my face on the side of it. It's free advertisement." She's like, "Okay, I don't care." Yeah. And so that's like almost like my test. You don't get in the van, I don't pay. Like, because I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Yeah, a cargo van, big deal. If that's the reason you're not gonna work with me as an agent because I don't show up in Mercedes, which I could have, or show up in a Sprinter van, or show up on my scooter. My scooter's awesome. I don't give anything this says. It's badass.
It's funny that you say that because I have a newer car now, but I just got it a year ago. But it'd be funny sometimes because people would see, my clients would be like, the car I had before, I had a little Nissan Cube.
Okay.
I don't care. I'm not a car person. I don't care. Uh-huh. And clients would be like, oh, that's what you drive?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah, it's not expensive. Uh-huh. And I live a mile from the salon, right? I don't need a luxury vehicle for the 1 mile commute. And people would be like, oh, I just thought you would drive this. Or I thought you would drive, I could really see you in this, that, the other. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, even if I made double what I made now, I'd probably still drive the car. I have a Honda CR-V. Yeah. That's probably still what I'd be driving.
It's awesome.
Cool. It fits me.
Yeah. Well, and for me, mine was function. People are like, why'd you get this thing? I'm like, dude, you know how much it sucks putting open house signs into a luxury car, and then you ding it up, and then you scratch
rip the leather in the back seat.
And you're like, oh, and we're getting just pissed off. Actually, a funny story about this Mercedes. One time we were driving back, my old Mercedes, we were driving back from a Christmas party. And, I had a driver, and I had a few, and we needed gas. So we go to get gas, and it was like a push and then release. Well, it wouldn't release. And we were on E, and it was like, and it wouldn't. I just fucking, boom, ripped it off. And my brother's like, did you just rip off your gas lid up in Mercedes? I'm like, yeah, I did. So then I called Mercedes the next day, and I'm like, hey, this thing broke. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll fix it, no problem. And I'm like, they're like, it actually happens more than you think. I go, really?
Then fix it.
I was like, can we fix this issue? And they're like, yeah, it doesn't really. But I will say, even though I drive a van, it is a Mercedes. I will say, I have driven not nice cars and nice cars. The biggest difference between them is when you go to the delership. When you go to the dealership at a really nice, like in a Mercedes or Audi or whatever, they treat you like $1 million. My brother used to work at not a Honda. He worked at like a Honda dealership when he was like right out of high school, and then he had to go to Mercedes one day with my car, and he's like, he called me up, he's like, bro, he goes, they had 4 people, we used to have 1 person that used to do that job. He's like, I've never been taken care of that good, and he's like, I could see why you drive this car. And I was like, yeah, that's true. So what is the kind of the things you guys are doing for the charity? Like, do you guys throw events? Do you guys just normally just sell T-shirts? What's kind of do you guys put on things?
Not really events because, again, we're not necessarily the nonprofit as much as the sales then I send out to different nonprofits. when I first started it, when I first launched it 3 years ago, I had people send me mental health services that could take money.
Yeah.
This is the weird thing about it, Adam. A lot of these agencies that you think of like that can accept money can't, because they're funded federally. So their money that they get each year has to be spent a certain way, and they cannot accept additional funds. So it's hard to find actual nonprofits that we can donate to.
Well, because it's crazy is it then if they don't spend that money, they lose it.
Yes.
And that's stupid.
And so if they're federally funded, they can't accept outside income.
That's crazy.
So that was the hard part. Actually, when I first launched, I had, we had some really good sales going on. I had this money, and I'm like calling organizations to make these, donations, and like, oh, we can't accept money. We can't accept money. Oh, we can't accept money. We can't. And I'm like, what? Like, how are mental health services not able to accept money? Like, I'm like, this is bothering me. So just finding a few nonprofits, and I'm just now just sort of going back and forth with them. And yeah, so we just donate when we can, when we make sales. And
that's awesome, man. I think that's what some people don't realize is that, like, and that's probably some of the things I've realized is that how hard it is sometimes. You're like, you have like a good cause you want to do for people, and you're like, oh, I can't even do it. Like, and then you can almost get like frustrated. You're like, it's like, I'm trying to give you money to help people. And
like, again, like I didn't realize, like I would talk to people and they're like, yeah. And so finally one of the organizations I call, I think it was one of them here in Riverside, she was like, let me explain to you how this works. And she broke it down for me. I was like, okay, nobody's made, I don't know how this works. My goal was like, I'm going to sell shirts and send money to nonprofits, and everybody's going to be happy, and everybody's going to buy a shirt. Right. And that didn't happen either. But we do get sales now, and so I can donate whenever we make sales, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. Like, we're going back to cards and stuff, and people spend money. Like, I literally need nothing. Like for me, it's like now that like I just wear, like someone's like, you just wear t-shirts every day. I'm like, dude, I'll rock my charity shirts. I'll rock my boy Justin who owns One Love IE. Yes. I'll rock my freaking boy Andrew who owns a shop. I'm just like a walking billboard for everyone. Like when people are like, when you go to the, like I have shirts for my company, and they're like, you only wear those to the gym. I'm like, why am I gonna rep another company?
Yeah,
I'm a walking billboard.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think that's the thing too, is like when you see people when you see people trying to do what you're doing, you know how hard it is, especially get started. You're like, dude, I can help you. Especially like for me, like, yes, selling a house is very difficult because we have less clients. But like when you do sell a house, yes, you make a good amount of change. Like, dude, I feel bad people who sell $20 hats, man. Like, God, you used to have to sell a lot of hats.
Yeah.
A lot of hats. So, obviously we've had some changes, sir, and you just opened your salon last year. Like where the direction you want to go, and like where do you want your salon to be? Is it open more locations, or you really just want to dial in like one spot?
So last year when I opened, my mindset was, because my salon's by the Riverside Plaza. Mm-hmm. And so my mindset was, we're going to have one there. We're going to have one downtown. We're going to have one by La Sierra, Woodcrest. And I'm just like, I'm going through. And my concept was, I wanted a name that could be wherever. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, Luxe and Local, wherever I am, I could have that local product. So if I move out of Riverside, I can, and now I'm like, okay, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm good with this one shop. I just want a few more hairdressers in there, create a team that would just,
And I think that's the thing too, is like creating that team is like, people think like, like when people ask me like, how many agents do you have for, like currently I have no agents working here. And they're like, how's that possible? And I'm like, dude, you know how hard it is to find an agent that fits, that is good for culture, that believes the same things you believe, that actually want to work? Like, it is a lot harder than people think.
It's hard in the hair industry too, because we're creative, so how we see things is already so individualized. Mm-hmm. But I've worked in a salon that had a culture before, other salons that have culture, so I know it's possible. Mm-hmm. And when I explain to people like that I'm interested in working at the salon, I'm like, Luxe and Local. This is what we are. We have luxury hair care. We have a standard of service and local Riverside beauty brands. That's what we use. That's what we sell. That's what we have. Oh, well, okay, cool. It's fine. You don't have to work here. You know what I mean? Because I know there's hairdressers out there that are like, wait, you guys sell local product? That's awesome. That's what I want to be a part of. That's what I want to do. So I'm not really worried about like building, because I know as that grows, it'll be the best of the team. So.
Did you feel like it took a lot like longer to get things going, or like the same amount of time, or it happened faster?
The thing is, I opened at a weird time in the year for our industry.
Yeah.
It was right before the holidays. Nobody changes salons right before the holidays. and then nobody changes right after in January because everybody's broke,
Yeah.
right? So it's been slower, but it's not necessarily slower.
Yeah.
That's just the time of the year, whatever. So
Yeah.
and I'm not too worried about it.
Was it hard to like make your how long did it take you to figure out your name?
So I had a different name
Uh-huh.
set up initially. God, I can't even think of what it was.
That's how good it was.
And one of my business coaches said, okay, with your new salon name, if you go this route, you need to have 2 to 3 sets of 25 hashtags that, are related to your business model, blah, 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 that you'll be using on your post. And I'm like, okay. So one of my hashtags was Luxe and Local. And then I'm like, whoa, hold on. That's what I want for the name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want this other name. I want Luxe and Local. So then my marketing people, Creative Solutions, they're here from Riverside, and I send them, I'm like, name change.
Yeah.
And they're like, why? And I'm like, this is what it is. Start working on something. I sort of want it to look like this, that, the other, and going back and forth. And then finally, I'm not good at describing like in an email what I want for a logo, you know?
That's why.
So finally I was like,
agree
hey,
with that.
what time can we meet? I need to be at your house.
That's what I'm talking
So
about.
then I was like, hey, I want this and I want, so I had to like physically draw it out, and then they perfected that, and then we have it. And
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. Like I used to have an outdoor designer, and I've been working on trying to find an in-house designer. People are like, why? Like I don't want to work in-house. I said, dude, I cannot explain to you in an email what I want. I can't explain over the phone. And I go, I'd rather just sit down with you, tell you what I want, and bang. It's like my 2 video guys. They come here every day, and people are like, why? I'm like, you know how long it would take us to go through a vlog if I couldn't sit there and watch it with them?
Yeah.
Dude, it takes 20 minutes for them to email it to me. Then it would take me 10 minutes to watch. Then it would take me another 20 minutes to send it back to them. And I'm like, dude, it would take so much time. We couldn't put out enough stuff. Like I am all about meeting in person.
Yeah.
I love like when it's design work or marketing, just meet in person.
And that's why I like them, because they're here in Riverside. So I'm like, hey, and sometimes like since we've opened the salon, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of a different sign here. They'll just pop in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like they could just stop by if they need to, or I could stop by their house or whatever. So I'll never deal with somebody that's like email only, because
it's so hard, man. It takes so long. And I think that's the thing too, like that people don't realize is like it's almost like crazy to think everyone who, if one person's business stops, how many people are affected down the road. And that's something that this whole thing has reminded me of, is like, dude, this person isn't working, this person's not working, like I'm not giving this person business. I'm like, dang. And then the hard part is like for my building or other things, like you're wanting like going to them for like discount, like, hey, listen, we're in some tough times. It's like those people are also in tough times. Yeah. So it's like you're asking for favors that people, they also need favors. Yeah. So it's like a weird world that we're all like
hey.
I
look at the other day, I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, so my yard guy's at the house like a few weeks ago. I was like, y'all need to come in a few more weeks, because I'm just like trying to push things out. The salon, we have a window cleaner. He's not working right now. My salon cleaner, who cleans the inside of the salon, she's not working right now. The towel service people, they're not working. I mean, maybe they're servicing other accounts, but any of their salon accounts, they're not servicing. All these other things like that. My guy who cleans my car, he's a mobile detailer. He's at the salon every other week. And I'm like, well, he ain't working. I mean, maybe he is on other, but it's just, again, you think of like when you make money, how much
people
that goes out. And I have my assistant at the salon. I'm not working. She's not working.
Yeah. It's like right now, like someone's like, my marketer went like, I forgot to tell him, he went to my website and the website's down. He's like, what happened? I was like, oh, dude, I cut my website. I was like, that's $1,200 a month. I don't need to be spending right now. And he's like, oh, okay. Like you start figuring out, that's the one good thing. And I've said this multiple times on podcasts with you. The one good thing that comes through these hard times is like you cut the fat. You start finding out really quickly what you need and really fast. Like I was like, why do we spend $1,200 on a website? We don't use it. We don't use it for what it's meant for. So let's just cut it. And like, and when this comes back, we might not even, we might maybe do like a Squarespace and maybe only do it myself for like $50 a month. Yeah.
Or just do a basic landing page with your phone number. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, because a lot of people,
they don't even use it.
No.
So it's like, then you start realizing like, oh my God. So that's what I've been telling everyone. Like this time is like, you start figuring out real quick, okay, like what really makes me money, what doesn't. And what's the worst part about what I've been seeing is it's like people are just sitting at home. It's like, dude, if you're not doing something right now, like I know it sucks, trust me. But like you said, like you start figuring out like maybe new marketing pieces, what should we be doing? So when this all does clear up, it's like sprint mode.
Yeah.
Because I think you guys are going to be slammed afterwards.
We will. We will.
I think you guys are going to be like upside down because there's a lot of people. And that was one thing my ex-fiance's uncle used to tell her. And he was like, God, he was a very smart guy. He's still alive, but he's a really smart guy. And he like would he ran whole hospitals in Dallas and stuff. And he goes, you have the best job ever. And she's like, why? Because she would always like, maybe I need to go do something else. He's like, everyone always needs a haircut. He's like, it doesn't matter what's going on. People need their haircut. Makes them feel good. People need it. He goes, yeah, like, do times get tough and people wait longer, but they'll still sooner or later come get their haircut. Because I'll tell you this, there's been some brutal Facebook posts of people trying to cut their own hair. It's a dangerous game out there.
And you know
now.
what? I'm sort of glad people are trying it.
Oh, 100%.
Because I am no longer just a hairdresser.
No.
They're like, oh, I love you.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a different respect happening right now for us. And I tell people like, you know, during the last crash, like people will be like, oh, you know, the economy. And it did. We were affected and we will be affected this time. But it's still the, you know, people that lose their jobs through all this, they're going to need their haircut before their interview.
Yeah.
The people that have their jobs want to make sure they still look okay. So they still get their hair done. You know, a lot of people, even if they're moving to Zoom work, they're still being seen. They still need their hair done. They're still styling their hair for these meetings. So our industry does get affected, but at the same time, like, we're still needed.
Well, and that's the thing, too. There's been some terrible bowl cuts. Right? There's been, like, people have been going to the store and, like, buying clippers at Walmart and just thinking they can do it. It's like, dude, you can't even fade up yourself. Like, it is awful.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even try, like, because I would just, like, I just wear hats everywhere. People are like, you wear a lot of hats lately. I'm like, dude, my hair's so, like, I just got cut the other day because we had a photo shoot. But I'm like, my hair's so long right now, and I am not trying to cut it myself. Yeah. Like, I will literally have to shave my head because it'll be like, I'm like, dang it. Yeah. Like, there's nothing worse than bowl cuts.
Yeah, I've actually had to, like, trim up my hair a little bit in the back myself. And just, like, I'm like, oh, my God.
You're like this is very difficult.
People are like, don't you know how to cut your own hair? I'm like, why would I need to know how to cut my own hair?
Yeah.
Like, no. I don't need to cut my own hair.
So
now I need to cut my own hair.
So, man, we're about at an hour. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
It was it's always interesting to see the growth of people in business in all aspects of it, and it's crazy to think as much as like people want to say Riverside's a small city, like how many people actually are like are doing this and pulling things off. And I hope anyone who watched this today, for one, go buy a t-shirt. Mental health is so important. I don't think people realize how crazy mental health is. I really wish there was something that one, I wish seeing therapists were easier.
Yeah.
I really wish that was an easier thing. Two, I wish it was more accepted in the universe because it really is. And three, stop asking your homies that know no idea, like that what they're talking about, give you advice because it's not going to be great. And then obviously, if you need your haircut.
Yeah. Hit a homie up.
Hit a homie up, right?
Hit a homie up.
Stop going to Fantastic Sam's. Stop going there. Like, stop going to the crappy places.
And even if I can't get you in, I have my staff. They'd love some new clients too, so definitely.
So I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming in.
Definitely.
All right, peace.
Late.